I swapped places with my twin, and now his boss is obsessed with me. Please swap places with me, Ryan begged for the third time. I folded my arms. You always do this. Every time you mess up, you drag me into it just because we're twins. Remember when you made me take your exam, or that time you sent me to your part-time job in college? But I didn't do anything wrong this time, he protested. It's my boss. You know how he is. I raised an eyebrow. Ever consider that your sharp tongue might be a part of the problem? He hesitated. Fine, maybe I've said some things, but he's totally unfair. Please help me out. I can't survive a whole week on a retreat with him. I sighed. Even if I wanted to help, don't you think he would notice? You could lose your job. Ryan shook his head. Not a chance. He barely interacts with me unless it's to criticize something. Just do your best to imitate me. And you freelance, so you wouldn't have to worry about your work either. Come on, Alex. It's only 1 week. Remember when I helped you out with that loud date? He reminded me. I groaned. Fine. But if this backfires, it's on you. Ryan grinned and pulled me into a tight hug. Thank you, thank you, thank you! I owe you big time. A few days later, I stood in the parking lot of Ryan's office, searching for his boss's car. Ryan had mentioned we'd be sharing a ride to the retreat. But even after seeing pictures of his boss, I wasn't sure what to expect. Ryan, a voice called from behind. I quickly turned around to see a man in an expensive gray suit, looking like a picture of perfection. You kept me waiting, he said coldly. I almost explained that I had the trouble of finding him, but decided against it. Instead, I followed him into the car in silence. The tension was thick as we hit the road. Before we got to the resort, he started. I have no intention of pretending things are fine between us. I'll be busy with work, so don't bother me. Remembering Ryan's warning, I retorted, so you're just going to ignore the boss's orders? That's my concern, and I doubt you'd care either way. Maybe, but we could at least try, I shrugged. He frowned. Since when are you so optimistic? As if I rolled my eyes. I just don't want to get fired. Don't worry, what happens at the resort stays at the resort, he said coolly, eyes on the road. If only I had known how true those words would be. A few hours later, wow! I exclaimed in wonder as I stared at the huge cabin in front of us. It looked like some kind of luxury escape, and I was pretty sure it was. Don't keep standing there, Nathan retorted. You'll be more amazed when you come inside. Nathan was right. The resort was even more luxurious and well-equipped from the inside. Staying here for a week with Ryan's boss didn't sound so bad now. I am taking the room on the right side, while you can take one on the left. So, I hope I won't be fighting you on my side, he informed. I'll try my best, I replied, still taken by our lakeside luxury cabin escape. Suddenly, Nathan came close to me, inches from my face. Don't you dare cause trouble for me here, or it won't end well for you, he threatened. I almost stopped breathing for a moment, and I just stared into Nathan's cold eyes. Say something, he said coldly. I won't do anything, I stammered. He frowned for a second and then nodded, leaving to go to his room. As I stared at him, I suddenly felt that Ryan might be speaking the truth about him, and I had no idea how I was going to spend an entire week with such a heartless man. Next day, you making breakfast? Nathan's voice echoed as I flipped a pancake. Yeah, need something? I asked. I need the kitchen. I wanted to cook too, he frowned. There's plenty of space. You can join me, I pointed out. I'm fine, he huffed. Or I could just make some for you too, I shrugged. He stared at me, mumbled about not wanting favors and left. A while later I brought 2 plates of pancakes to the hall, where he was undoubtedly brooding. Here, I handed him a plate, made extra. He hesitated before taking it. Thanks, he muttered. No problem, I shrugged. After a moment, he asked, why are you suddenly being nice? Just doing what we were told. fixing our differences. Since when do you care about orders? We're here because you refused to work with me and started that huge argument. It wasn't just my fault, I said firmly, trying to sound like Ryan. Nathan pondered before giving me the smallest smile. Maybe you're right. Thank you for the pancakes. They're good. I nodded, feeling the tension between us ease, if only for a moment. 2 days later, the tension between Nathan and me had almost disappeared. Though I tried to act like Ryan most of the time, I also made an effort to fix things for his sake. There's a picturesque hiking trail nearby. Want to come? Nathan asked, coming downstairs. I'm not great at hiking, I admitted. No harm in trying. I'll help you, he said casually. I hesitated then nodded. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad. The trail was peaceful, lined with towering trees. I focused on keeping up, but the uneven terrain was trickier than I expected. Watch your step, Nathan warned just as I slipped. Before I could react, he grabbed my hand, steadying me. His grip was firm, reassuring. For a second, I forgot to breathe. You okay? He asked, his expression softer than usual. Yeah, thanks, I muttered, acutely aware of the warmth of his hand before he let go. Nathan smirked. Told you I'd help. I smiled despite myself. Do you admit this is nice? He asked later, gesturing around us. Fine, it's not bad. I rolled my eyes. Not bad. He raised an eyebrow. I sighed dramatically. Alright, fine, it's nice. Peaceful. Even happy now? Told you? He grinned, and I couldn't help smiling back. Nathan held my hand through the tricky spots, and somehow, his touch felt oddly comforting. A few hours later, after a while, we finally reached a clearing that overlooked a valley. The view was stunning. Rolling hills, a lake glimmering in the distance, and the sky stretching endlessly above. Nathan sat down on a large rock and patted the space beside him. Worth the hike? I sat down, catching my breath. Yes, you win. This is amazing. I stared at the view in amazement. For a while, we just sat there, letting the quiet settle around us. A light breeze rustled through the trees, and it felt calm and comforting. Then Nathan turned to me, studying me in a way that made my stomach tighten. You know, you're not as much of a pain in the ass as I thought. Same goes for you, I grinned. Truce, Nathan said with a grin, offering his hand. I hesitated for a moment before finally taking it, a small smile tugging at my lips. Truce. He laughed, and something about the sound he made my chest feel strangely warm. As I looked away, focusing on the view, I wasn't sure if I was just fixing things for Ryan now. Next day, I was in the kitchen with Nathan, preparing lunch. He insisted on helping, and I don't mind. I liked having him around now. You're doing it all wrong, he teased as he struggled to slice the vegetables. He rolled his eyes. Care to explain, Master Chef? With pleasure. I grinned, reaching over and placing my hand over his. Guiding the knife, I could feel the heat emanating from the closeness of our bodies, the warmth of his skin, and the roughness of his fingers beneath mine. For a while, neither of us pulled away. Nathan's gaze was on me, softer than usual. His eyes flickered to my lips, sending a shiver through me. Then, he abruptly cleared his throat and stepped back. You know what? You cut. I'll handle the plan. I blinked, trying to steady myself. Yeah, sure. But my hand still tingled where he had touched me. An hour later, we sat at the table. Delicious, Nathan said in pure joy. It's my grandma's recipe, I smiled. I have to admit, you're a great cook, he said. Thanks. Cooking is one of my favorite hobbies. What about you? He thought for a moment. I'm more of an outdoors guy. Hiking, camping, and running. Sounds exhausting, I said, surprised. Nathan chuckled. I also enjoy nature photography. That's more peaceful. Really? Me too. You have to show me some of your photos. Nathan nodded, smiling. Who would have thought we'd talk like this? I thought we were sworn enemies. Well, things change, I said, guilt flickering inside me. Then, I'm glad they changed for the better, he said softly. I tried to smile back, but the smile didn't reach my eyes. This was supposed to be simple. Fill in for Ryan, keep my distance, and get through the retreat without trouble. But now, sitting here, laughing, cooking, and sharing moments that felt too real. I wasn't sure where the lines were anymore. 2 days later, Nathan and I had grown closer over the past few days. In fact, I had grown so used to him that the thought of parting ways, possibly never seeing him again, filled me with an ache I wasn't ready to acknowledge. Today was our last day at the resort, and though my bags were packed, I wasn't truly ready to leave. I searched the entire resort for Nathan, hoping to spend the last few hours with him, but he was nowhere to be found. "Nathan!" I called out, finally spotting him in the lake, his movements effortlessly as he glided through the water. "What is it?" he shouted back, his voice carrying over the stillness of the lake. "Don't you need to pack your stuff?" I reminded him. "Give me a minute," he replied before making his way towards me. I stood frozen as he emerged from the water, droplets cascading down his toned body. His dark, wet hair glistened under the sunlight. The way his piercing blue eyes locked onto mine sent a jolt through me, my heart pounding, my breath hitching. For a moment, everything else faded away. He stepped closer, flipping his wet hair back, sending cool droplets onto my skin. The sudden tension broke my trance, but not the tension crackling between us. "What were you doing in the lake?" Forcing my voice to remain steady, Nathan asked. "Isn't it obvious?" He ran a hand through his hair before adding, "Went for the last swim before we leave." His gaze lingered on mine, heavy with something unspoken. "Were you looking for me?" he asked, stepping even closer, his voice quieter now, almost teasing. "Yeah, just wanted to remind you to pack your stuff," I said, though my words felt weak, like even I didn't believe them. "And is that the only reason?" he asked, seeing through me. I swallowed hard, my breath stuttering as I hesitated before admitting, "No." His fingers brushed against my cheek, the touch sending a shiver down my spine. He tilted my face towards him, his thumb grazing my jaw, forcing me to meet his gaze. Then, "I don't think you'll stop me from doing what I'm about to do next," he murmured. The world seemed to still as he leaned in, his lips brushing against mine in a soft, searching kiss. For a moment, I froze, my mind catching up to what was happening. But then, I pulled him closer, kissing him back with an urgency I hadn't realized I was holding back. The kiss deepened, slow and unhurried, yet intense. As if neither of us wanted to let go, Nathan's forehead rested against mine, his breath warm against my lips. I held on to the moment as long as I could, knowing this was the last time I would ever see him. And no matter how much my heart ached, nothing could change this fact. A few hours later, Ryan's POV. "How was the retreat?" I asked Alex after I returned from the trip. Did Nathan act like his usual annoying self? "It was good. He was fine," Alex replied coolly. "Really? I can't believe he was actually nice," I said, raising an eyebrow. Alex simply shrugged. "I'm tired. I'll talk to you later," he muttered, completely brushing me off. Something was definitely up. Not only did he seem tense, but he was also avoiding my gaze. "Are you sure everything's fine?" I asked as he got up to leave the room. "Yeah, of course," he replied too quickly. But the stiffness in his voice and the way his shoulders tensed told me otherwise. He was lying, and I had to find out why. Next day, I came to the office today, still preoccupied with Alex's strange behavior. He was acting different, and I couldn't figure out why. Had something happened on the retreat? I shook my head, pushing the thought aside. I had bigger problems to deal with, namely, Nathan. Facing him again was the last thing I wanted to do. "Hey, Nathan," I greeted, forcing a smile through gritted teeth as I spotted him. "Ryan, it's good to see you again," he said, smiling warmly. Right, of course. I muttered, scowling. I was certain he was just trying to get under my skin. Deciding not to give him any satisfaction of a reason, I threw myself into my work, ignoring him completely. Hey Ryan, Nathan's voice rang out after some time. I brought you coffee. I frowned. Why? What do you mean, why? He shrugged. I saw you working hard, so I thought you would appreciate some coffee. I narrowed my eyes. I mean, why did you have to bring it? Nathan chuckled, tilting his head. Would it have been better if someone else had? I didn't ask for it, I retorted. You didn't need to, he replied casually, as if we were old friends. I sighed, already exhausted. Fine, hand it over and leave me alone. Nathan frowned, looking like he wanted to argue. But after a brief pause, he simply handed the coffee and walked away. I let out a relieved sigh as he finally left me alone. I had no idea what was up with Nathan, or why he was acting so strange. Another day later, did something happen between you and Nathan at the retreat? I asked Alex as I prepared to leave for the office. What do you mean? Alex fumbled. I mean, you were acting so tense that Nathan was acting strange too yesterday, I pointed out. He was? Alex said in surprise. Nothing happened though. I just did my best to act as you, he added after a moment. I wasn't sure if I actually believed him or not, but I sure didn't want to argue any further. A few hours later, I was going to head out for lunch when Nathan stepped in front of me, blocking my path. Going somewhere? He asked with an infuriating smile. Lunch, I replied flatly, trying to move past him, but he didn't budge. Perfect, he said. I was able to grab something too. Let's go together. I narrowed my eyes. Why would I do that? I thought you would like it, he replied, almost seemingly confused. Since when did we become close friends? I frowned. Didn't we? He said in surprise. I sighed. Look, Nathan, lunch is the time I like to enjoy alone, so I would really appreciate it if you would leave me alone. Then I pushed past him before he could say another word, determined not to let him get under my skin. Later that day. Going home? Nathan called as I walked to my car. Obviously, everyone does after work, I replied, irritation creeping in. I could drop you off, he offered with a shrug. I have my own car, I pointed out, crossing my arms. Leave it here. I'll pick you up in the morning, he said like it was the most natural thing. I narrowed my eyes. Why would you go to such lengths for me? Nathan studied me before sighing. Did I do something wrong? Have I hurt you? When haven't you? I muttered. He exhaled. I'm sorry. Please, let me make it up to you. Please, take my offer. I hesitated, then sighed. If he was this determined, who was I to refuse? The car ride was silent. I just stared out the window, unable to shake the feeling that something about Nathan had changed. I just didn't know if it was better or worse. 2 days later, Nathan had grown unusually kind, never snapping even when I argued or messed up at work. And if I were honest, I didn't mind. He was starting to grow on me. Lunch? Nathan grinned. There's this new Mexican place I think you'd like. I considered refusing like always, but seeing the sincerity in his eyes, I relented. As I took my first bite, he asked, Well? Pretty good. This place is actually cozy too, I admitted. Told you I have a good eye, he smirked. Really? I teased. Like when you approve those awful designs? I was just being nice, he said, flustered. Sure, I smirked. But I'll admit, you have an eye for some things. Finally, recognition. Nathan bowed dramatically. I chuckled. You're such a jokester. Only with you, he said softly. Yeah, right. I rolled my eyes, ignoring my heart racing. I mean it, Ryan. He took my hand, his gaze steady. And for some reason, I believed him completely. A few days later, here is our favorite coffee order. Nathan smiled warmingly, handing me my coffee, our hands slightly brushed. And I hitched my breath. Don't forget the meeting we have in the next 10 minutes, he reminded me before leaving. But even as the meeting started, my eyes kept searching for Nathan. He caught my eyes and smiled softly, knowingly, making my heart flutter again. At first I told myself it was nothing, that I wasn't paying extra attention to Nathan, that I wasn't also searching for him, but I knew I was lying. The truth was Nathan had started affecting me a lot. I like how he laughed warmly at one of my silly jokes. I like how he always bought my favorite coffee every day, or the way he remembered little things about me, like the way he made my heart race. In fact, I liked him. The realization hit me as I locked eyes with Nathan. I understood what I had finally been feeling for the past few days. I was falling for him, and there was no turning back. A few hours later, "Somebody looks happy," Alex remarked as I walked in. "It's nothing," I lied, failing to hide my grin. Alex scoffed. "You think you can lie to your twin? Spill!" "Fine," I rolled my eyes, "but don't freak out." Taking a deep breath, I admitted, "I've fallen for someone." Alex's eyes widened. "You? Who?" I hesitated. "Nathan." His jaw dropped. "Nathan? As in your Nathan?" "The very same," I said sheepishly. He changed somehow. I fell for him. Alex studied me, his voice softer now. "Are you sure?" I nodded. "Yeah, and I think I'm going to confess soon." A slow smile spread across my face as he hugged me. "I'm happy for you." "Who would have thought, huh?" I chuckled. "Maybe you worked some magic on him during the retreat." "Yeah, must be it," Alex said with a small smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "You okay?" I frowned. "Yeah," he said quickly. Then, with a tense grin, "At least I won't have to swap places with you anymore." I laughed. "You can finally relax." But as I said it, I couldn't shake the feeling that Alex's smile was a little too forced. 2 days later, "Do you want to go on a hike this weekend?" Nathan asked me during lunch. "Sure, I would love to," I grinned. "Wow, you were definitely not this eager the last time we went on a hike." He chuckled. I frowned. "Last time? Don't tell me you've already forgotten our hiking trip." Nathan raised an eyebrow. I wondered if Alex and Nathan went on a hiking trip, and then nodded my head slowly. "Of course I do." "You know, it's strange how you don't even mention our retreat even once," he said, tilting his head. "I just like to live in the present." I gave an excuse. "But don't you miss all the memories we made?" he quipped. "Isn't it better making new memories?" I remarked, wondering what he was talking about. "Right, of course." He smiled, but for the first time, it didn't reach his ears. Next day, "What do you think of these cookies?" Nathan asked, handing me a box. I took a bite and nodded. "Pretty good." "Coming from the master chef himself," he teased. I frowned. "Master chef? You're too modest. Your cooking skills are amazing." I felt my face heat up. "I just know a thing or two." "Really?" He raised an eyebrow. "At the retreat, you cooked like a pro." My stomach dropped. Alex was the great cook, not me. "All right," I said quickly. "But I wouldn't call myself a master chef." "Don't sell yourself short. I was hoping you would invite me to dinner or something, but you never do." Sure," I lied. "Great. And don't forget our hiking trip this weekend." As Nathan walked away, I exhaled. Alex hadn't told me everything. What really happened between them? A few days later, "Come on, keep up," I called over my shoulder as I walked ahead on the hiking trail. "Since when did you get so good at hiking?" Nathan gasped, struggling to keep up. "Have you secretly been hiking behind my back?" "Maybe," I grinned and extended a hand to him. "Come on, I'll help you." As soon as we reached the top and sat at the rock, taking in the breathtaking view. "Isn't it beautiful? I've always loved sunsets." I sighed in contentment. "I would have loved to capture this," Nathan muttered, his voice soft. "Really? I didn't take you for a nature photographer," I smirked. But instead of answering, Nathan suddenly frowned. "You've been acting different. Strange, even." My smile faltered. "What do you mean?" I asked, a twinge of unease creeping in. He shook his head. "At first I thought it was nothing, but now I'm not so sure." It's almost like you're a different person. I let out a nervous chuckle. That's not possible. But, as I said it, fear gripped my heart. If Nathan was starting to piece the truth together. The next day, Alex's POV. I need your help again, Ryan pleaded. What now? I sighed. I don't know what happened at the resort, but Nathan is suspicious of me, he said, worry etched across his face. I thought everything was going well. Don't you love him? I asked casually, though the words stung. It's not just about love. If he finds out the truth, I could lose my job. Please, help me, he begged. I crossed my arms. And what exactly do you want me to do? Swap places with me again, he said without hesitation. You have to be kidding me. I can't keep fixing your messes just because we're twins, I shot back. I know, and I'm sorry, but I have no choice. Please, Alex. And do you think this will solve everything? How long are you going to keep this up? Just this one time. Make Nathan believe we're the same person. I can't do this. Please. You only have to act for a few days. Besides, this mess is yours too. What do you mean? I narrowed my eyes. I asked you to act like me, but I didn't. But you did whatever you wanted, he retorted. I did you a favor, Ryan. I can't change who I am, I snapped. You could have at least tried to be me, he shot back. Then with a sigh, I won't blame you. Just, please, fix this. Fine, I growled. But this is the last time. I stormed out. But deep down, I had no idea how I'd face Nathan, only to leave him again. Next day, busy with work? Nathan asked, suddenly appearing beside my desk. Ryan had been helping me manage all his work at an office from home, while all I had to do was act like I was working. Yeah, I replied softly, an ache setting in my heart. One I hadn't felt in a long time. Want to take a break for a while? He smiled warmly. I hated how much I had missed that smile. Sure, if you think so, I said, raising to follow him, since we were on the rooftops, overlooking the vast city skyline. What do you think? Nathan asked, gesturing towards the view. It's beautiful, I murmured, momentarily lost in thought. Nathan smiled. Finally, you seem like your old self again. Anyway, this is my favorite spot. I love coming here whenever I need to clear my mind. You come here alone? Well, I never had company before, he admitted, glancing at me. But now I do. Lucky me, I chuckled softly, though the pang of sadness twisted in my chest. I'd say we're both lucky, Nathan murmured, his hand brushing against mine. As my feelings for him stirred once more, I wondered just how long I could keep this act. A few days later, Nathan and I had been spending a lot of time together, and being with him again made me realize just how much I had missed him. Today, he had invited me over to dinner at his house, and after refusing multiple times, I had reluctantly agreed. I know I'm not a master chef like you, but I really worked hard on this dinner. So I hope you liked it, he said, gesturing towards the spread before me. I'm sure everything would be delicious. I smiled at him. Well then, what are we waiting for? Let's dig in, he grinned. I took a bite and my eyes widened in delight. This is amazing, I exclaimed. All thanks to you. I learned a lot during our retreat, he said proudly. Come on, all I did was show you a few tips, I replied, feeling embarrassed. Nathan leaned back and smirked. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you, when did you suddenly gain secret hiking skills? I remember what Ryan had told me and quickly said. I was practicing a bit, so I wouldn't be a burden to you during our hike like last time. Nathan suddenly reached across the table and took my hand in his. His gaze was warm, sincere. What do you think of that, Ryan? You were never a burden to me. In fact, I liked helping you. I liked helping you out, he said softly. I like spending time with you, I confessed. Nathan tilted his head. You're acting different again. What do you mean? I asked hesitantly. You were so outspoken just a few days ago, and now you seem softer somehow, he explained. I chuckled tensely. You're making it sound like I've got an alter ego or something. Seriously, I'm ready to believe even that now, he replied. By the way, you never got around to showing me your nature pictures, I said, trying to change the topic. Oh, yes, I totally forgot. Let me bring in my camera now, he said and came back with his camera. Wow, these are beautiful, I exclaimed, looking at the amazing pictures Nathan had taken. Nathan suddenly leaned closer to me, our faces almost touching, and said, "It's nothing compared to you," making me blush. A lump formed in my throat as I struggled to hold the emotions swirling inside me. How much longer could I keep pretending? 2 days later, Nathan called me to his office, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, especially since he'd been so distant lately. "You wanted to see me?" I asked. "There's something important we need to discuss," he said, watching me closely. "Do you remember the client report you worked on? I need the key details." I hesitated. I don't remember exactly. Can I get back to you on that later?" "Just a brief summary. It's been a while, so I'm having trouble recalling." Nathan's expression hardened. "What are you talking about? You worked on it last week, don't you remember?" I stammered. "You're not Ryan, are you?" He said coldly. "Because there was no client to report, I lied." My heart pounded. "What do you mean? I was suspicious for a while, but your personality shift confirmed it." "I did some digging, and I found Ryan has a brother. Confess, or you'll regret it." He knew my worst fear had come true. "I'll tell you everything," I admitted. "I'm Ryan's twin, Alex." "Twins?" His eyes widened. "So, you've been messing with me this whole time?" "No! Ryan didn't want to go on that retreat with you, so he asked me to take his place for the week. When he returned, you got suspicious, so he switched again to throw you off." Nathan clenched his fists. "So you played me? Played with my feelings?" "I'm sorry," I murmured. "Sorry means nothing. You lied to me. You made a fool out of me," he scoffed. "And the worst part? I actually started to trust you." His voice laced with anger. But there's something else beneath it. Betrayal. "Ryan can say goodbye to his job." "No, please. This job means everything to him. I'll leave for good. Just don't fire him," I pleaded, tears in my eyes. Nathan crossed his arms, his jaw tightening. "Why should I listen to anything you say? Everything about you has been a lie." His words stung more than I could admit. "Please, I beg you. You'll never have to see me again. Just let this go." Nathan exhaled sharply, then finally said, "Fine. Get out and tell Ryan never to cross me again." I nodded and left, but my heart was heavy. It was over. I'd never see Nathan again. Next day, Ryan's POV. Alex had told me everything, and I don't know how exactly it happened, but Nathan had figured out the truth. To be honest, I wasn't surprised. Nathan was always cunning. I barged into his office, determined to defend Alex. "What are you doing here? Ryan, I presume?" Nathan said coldly. "Who else would dare storm into your office like this?" I shot back. "Why are you here? Haven't you had enough fun at my expense?" "The only reason I didn't take action was because Alex begged me not to." "That's exactly why I'm here," I said firmly. "The way you treated Alex was unfair. He did everything for my sake. You had no reason to be so harsh with him." Nathan scoffed. "Really? You of all people lecturing me on fairness? After everything you did? Get out of my office." "Fine, I will," I said, turning to leave. "But just so you know, Alex is a sensitive person. He'll remember your words forever. I hope you didn't say anything you'll regret." "It hurt me more than him," Nathan muttered under his breath. So softly I almost missed it. I paused, glancing at him one last time. His expression was wrecked, the devastation clear in his eyes. I had never seen Nathan like this before, and I knew It wasn't because of me. Kind of fucking is. This guy's an asshole. That evening, Alex. I called out as I arrived home. The house was dark. Was he not here? I found him sitting on the floor, his hair and clothes a mess, staring blankly at the corner. Are you okay? I asked, gripping his shoulder. Yeah, I'm fine. Just guilty, he muttered. If anyone should feel guilty, it's me. You look miserable, I pointed out. Don't worry about it. It's nothing, he said flatly. It doesn't look like nothing. Can't you tell your own twin? I pressed. He sighed. I was just thinking about what Nathan said, about how we hurt him. Sadness clouded his face. Don't listen to him, and stop looking so miserable. I hate seeing you like this. I'll be fine tomorrow. He forced a smile, but it didn't reach his ears. I knew he was lying. Looking at him now, I had figured out why. Next day, I stormed into Nathan's cabin, determined to get answers. Why do you care about Alex so much? I demanded. You can't keep barging in here, he snapped. Just tell me, what happened between you two during the retreat? That's none of your business, he said coldly. It wasn't until my brother ended up devastated. I need to know why. Nathan's expression faltered. He's devastated? He asked, then shook his head. You care now? After making him go through all of that? I sighed. Of course I do. He's my only family. So please, tell me what happened. Nathan hesitated before finally saying, we kissed. I thought it meant nothing to him. But maybe I was wrong. You kissed? I echoed in shock. Wait, all those nice things you did for me? They were meant for Alex. Did you have feelings for him? It doesn't matter now, he said coldly, and told me to leave. As I left his office, the truth finally clicked. I had been the fool who came between Alex and Nathan. Two people who truly loved each other. I hadn't actually loved Nathan, but it was mostly infuriation. No, I couldn't let it end like this. I had to make things right. A few hours later, why didn't you tell me? I demanded, storming into Alex's room. Tell you what? He asked, caught off guard. That you love Nathan? That both of you care for each other, I said. Oh, he murmured. You know. I just didn't want to hurt your feelings. My feelings? What about yours? I asked, exasperated. There's no future for Nathan and me. He's your boss, Alex shrugged. You idiot. So what if he's my boss? You love him, and he loves you. That's all that matters. He loves me? Alex's eyes widened in disbelief. Of course, you fool. Now, go get your man, I said firmly. But after everything that happened, maybe it's better if I just forget him and move on. He hesitated. No, it's not, I said, gripping his shoulders. You're miserable without him, and so is he. And I was a fool to come between you two. Let me fix my mistakes. Please. Alex let out a deep breath before finally relenting. Fine. I'll do as you say. 2 days later, I waited for Nathan in the office parking lot, the very place we first met. It felt like coming full circle. Nathan, I said softly as he approached. You wanted to talk? He asked, avoiding my gaze. Yes, I've been meaning to confess something for a while. But before that, Nathan, I got down on my knees, my voice trembling. Please forgive me. What are you doing? He replied in shock. This is me asking for forgiveness for everything I've done wrong. Every mistake I've made. I know it's hard, but I have to try. Do you know how your betrayal hurt me? How I felt watching you slip away? Thinking I'd lost you for good, he demanded, turning away in pain. I know, I whispered on the ground. I can't express how sorry I am, but I promise to make it up for every mistake. Do you? He murmured, then pulled me up. Do you even understand how much it hurt? I do every day, every minute. I felt that pain, I replied softly, clutching his hand. He drew me closer. Then stop running. Does this mean you'll accept me? I asked hopefully. I can't say I forgive you completely, but I can't bear to be without you, he admitted. I don't want to be apart from you either. I love you, I confessed. I can't measure how much I love you. It terrifies me, but I'd rather face the fear than live without you, he said, pulling me even closer. I'm glad Ryan pushed me to come here. Otherwise, I never have confessed. So, he finally did something right, Nathan smiled. Don't you dare leave me again. His fingers brushed my lips, sending a shiver through me. I won't, I whispered. Then let's promise to stay together, he murmured with a grin before leaning in to kiss me. I wrapped my arms around him and kissed him back, deeply and desperately. In that moment, all our chaotic past, twin swaps, betrayals and mistakes melted away. Nathan was the person my heart had been searching for all along. We still had a long road ahead, but this time, we walked it together. Conclusion. Nathan and I had moved in together a few months later. Parting from my twin, Ryan wasn't easy, but I knew it was the time for us to live our own lives. Besides, we were still in the same city, never too far apart. I did everything I could to make it up to Nathan, through time, small gestures, and unwavering patience. Slowly but surely he forgave me. Even Ryan and Nathan had made their peace. They weren't exactly friends, but at least they weren't enemies anymore. Living with Nathan was pure bliss. The saying opposites attract couldn't be further truer from us. We were complete opposites, yet somehow we fit together perfectly. Nathan pushed me out of my comfort zone, taking me on hikes, treks, and even rock climbing once. In return, I taught him to appreciate the small joys of life, cooking, watching movies, or simply relaxing together. Not long after, Nathan and I got together. Ryan left his job. We both urged him to stay, but he insisted he didn't want to come between us, even by accident. In the end, it worked out for the best. He landed his dream job with a boss he actually got along with, though his love life remained empty. He said he wanted to focus on his career for now. Despite our busy schedules, Nathan and I always made time to get together with him. Even though I realized one thing, Nathan was my yin to my yang, and I wouldn't have it any other way. The end. Have you ever swapped places with your twin? Or do you know someone who has? Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of our Rainbow Force. And stay wholesome.